I don't know the exact moment my wife stopped being mine, but I'm pretty sure it started in our neighbor's kitchen. Brian, our next-door neighbor, lost his wife in April. Just like that. One week, she was out watering the garden in a sun hat. The next, we were all standing in the chapel pretending we knew what to say. Cancer. Fast and ugly. Took Susan without giving Brian time to catch up. We live right next door. Fences, back porches, 2-car driveways. Quiet neighborhood. I'd shared beers with Brian over the years, passed him tools, helped him fix a gate once. He's a good man. Never loud, never in your face. Honest. After Susan passed, my wife started bringing him food. Said he looked thin. Said the fridge was probably empty. I didn't argue, it made sense. Brian looked like a ghost walking around in a hoodie. I even stopped by once or twice myself, just to say hey. You don't leave a man alone with silence like that. But it didn't stop with lasagna and quick chats on the porch. She started staying longer. First it was 10 minutes. Then an hour. Then sometimes she wouldn't come back until the sun was down. She's helping him clean, I told myself. Keeping him company. Talking. Nothing wrong with that. But something didn't feel right. And the worst part was, I couldn't explain why. It wasn't just the time. It was her. The way she acted when she came back. Light. Like something had been lifted. Her hair done up. A faint trace of perfume. She smiled more, but not at me. Not in that way. That smile used to belong to me. One night I asked how he was holding up. She said, better. We talked a lot today. It's helping him open up. She said we. I nodded. That's good. I didn't sleep well that night. The next week, she brought home groceries and a new pair of jeans. Said they were on sale. Wore them the next time she went over there. That same day, I saw her fixing her hair in the mirror before leaving. She hadn't done that in a long time. Not for dinner with me. Not even for church. Just for dropping off soup. Still, I didn't say a word. What was I supposed to say? You look too nice to be bringing someone chicken noodle? I just watched. She told me once she felt good helping people. Said it gave her purpose. Maybe that's what this was. Maybe she felt needed again. Maybe Brian's grief gave her something mine couldn't. But still, something wasn't sitting right. You can feel when a shift happens in a house. You start hearing silence differently. You notice when someone laughs at their phone and turns it upside down. You start wondering why you're eating dinner alone 2 nights a week while your wife is checking in on a man who used to mow his lawn at 6 a.m. sharp and now doesn't even come outside unless she's with him. I started counting things. Time. Distance. Smiles. The kind she used to give me when I walked through the door after deployment. The kind she gave when she'd squeeze my hand during Sunday service. That little flicker that said, "You're mine." That flicker was gone. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't emotional either. I'd spent a lifetime reading people, staying calm, keeping things inside. But something about all this stirred something I didn't like. It wasn't anger. Not yet. It was that low, tight feeling in your gut that says, you're being left behind, and you're the last to know. That feeling, it doesn't yell. It just waits. I didn't make accusations. I didn't touch her phone or follow her around. But I started noticing everything. What she wore. What time she left. Whether she brought anything back. Sometimes she did. Sometimes she didn't. Once, she came home humming. She hasn't hummed in years. I asked her what song it was. She said, just something Brian played. He's been listening to old records lately. She smiled when she said it. That smile again. The one I hadn't seen since long before April. That's when I knew something was happening. I didn't know what yet, but I was about to find out. The next few weeks told me more than any words could. She started going over there often. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes after dinner. Always with a reason. Brian needs help sorting papers, or he hasn't eaten much today, or his sink's leaking again. Funny how she never offered to fix mine when it dripped for a week straight. I didn't stop her. I didn't say a word. I watched. She came back glowing. That's the only word for it. Her skin had color again. Her walk had bounce. Her lips curved easy, like she'd come from somewhere warm. But it wasn't for me. One Friday morning I woke up early. She was already dressed, hair done, makeup on, perfume in the air. I watched her fix herself in the mirror like she was going on a date. Where to? I asked. She looked over her shoulder, startled. Brian's. He asked me to help go through Susan's boxes. Smells nice for cardboard and dust, I said. She gave a little half-smile. Don't start. And just like that, she was gone. I sat on the edge of the bed long after the door closed. The house felt empty. Not quiet. Empty. That afternoon, I took a walk past Brian's place. Nothing suspicious. Just a slow stroll, hands in pockets, pretending to enjoy the air. From the side yard, I heard her laugh. Not polite. Not forced. Real. The kind of laugh she used to save for me. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I stared at the ceiling fan while she scrolled her phone beside me on the couch. She chuckled once, then quickly turned the screen away. She used to show me things. Now she hides them. I didn't ask. I didn't need to. I was starting to understand. The next morning, she changed something on the fridge calendar. She scratched out dinner with Tom's sister and wrote, "Help Brian, garage." Didn't ask me. Just made the change. I erased it later. She never brought it up. Sunday, I was cleaning my boots on the porch when she came back from just helping Brian. Hair messy. Cheeks red. Smiling like she'd just been kissed. "Oh hey," she said. "Surprised to see me. Didn't know you were outside. How's Brian?" I asked. She paused. "Better. Still has bad days. Doesn't seem like he's hurting too bad." She narrowed her eyes. "What's that supposed to mean?" I shrugged. "Nothing." She stood there for a second, like she was waiting for me to pick a fight. I didn't. She went inside. That night, she was on the couch again, phone in hand, legs curled under her like she used to sit back when we were dating. But she wasn't sitting with me. Not really. Her body was here, but her mind was somewhere else. At one point, she smiled at the screen and typed fast, thumbs moving like they had something to say she couldn't hold in. When I glanced over, she turned the phone face down. That did it. I didn't ask who she was texting. I didn't accuse her. I just let that cold, quiet thing inside me settle in deeper. She wasn't hiding anymore. Not really. She just stopped caring whether I saw it. I started thinking differently after that. Not about confronting her. Not yet. But I wanted truth. Not guesses. Not hope. Truth I could see. So I watched closer. The miles on her car didn't match her errands. I checked. I started keeping track of what she wore and what she left with. Once, she told me she was going to her sister's, but her sister called the house an hour later. I didn't tell her. I just wrote it down. She came home humming that day. Said Brian played an old record. I nodded. Said, "That's nice." She smiled. And I realized. She was coming alive again, just not with me. I've always been the type who keeps things in his head. Never needed reminders or calendars. But that changed. The morning after she came home humming again, I pulled a small notebook from the desk drawer. Nothing fancy. Just a black cover and blank pages. I'd used it years ago to track oil changes and grocery lists. Now it had a new purpose. First page, first line. Wednesday said she was at the store. Car parked near Brian's for 1 hour, 42 minutes. Came home with nothing but a receipt for gum. It felt strange at first. Writing it down. Like I was doing something wrong. Like I was spying on my own wife. But I wasn't spying. I was paying attention. Because clearly, I was the only one who still cared about the truth. She kept moving the same way. Smiling when she left. Glowing when she came back. Some days I could smell his cologne faintly on her sweater. Not strong. Just enough to know they were close. Too close. Every time I noticed something, I wrote it down. The notebook started to fill faster than I expected. Friday, left at 5:13 p.m., said she was meeting her sister. Came home at 8:02. Sister called house at 6:20. Sunday, said she was helping Brian with garage cleanup. Saw them through the window. Candle on the table. Wine glasses. That one stung. Not because of the wine. Because of the candle. We hadn't lit one in this house in over a year. I didn't ask about it. Didn't confront her. I just nodded when she said her back was sore from lifting boxes. Said she might go help again next week. Sure. I told her. He's lucky to have you. She smiled like I meant it. And that smile? That was the one that told me everything I needed to know. It was a smile of someone who thinks they've gotten away with something. Who thinks you're blind, or dumb, or both. I wasn't either. One night she left her phone on the table when she went to take a shower. She never does that. Normally it's glued to her hand or shoved in her purse. I didn't touch it. Just sat there across from it, staring. Like it was ticking. Like something inside it would explode if I even breathed wrong. She came back 10 minutes later in her robe. Picked it up without a word. Screen lit up for a second, just long enough for me to see a name. Brian. She typed fast. Then turned the screen face down again. The notebook came back out that night. Tuesday phone left on table. Incoming message from Brian. No attempt to hide name. She smiled after reading it. Didn't say what it was. I was building a map. Not of streets or locations of lies. Piece by piece, day by day, I was collecting her story. The one she wasn't telling me. The one she thought she was living in secret. I didn't know how far it had gone. I didn't know if they'd crossed the line yet physically. But emotionally? She'd left me a long time ago. That's what most people don't understand. Affairs don't start with sex. They start with secrets. With inside jokes and lingering looks. With stories told to someone else before they're told to you. With one person pulling away while you're still reaching out. I stopped reaching. Started watching. She didn't even notice. She thought I was fading just like she said I was, background, quiet, too tired to see what was right in front of me. Let her think that. The more sure she felt, the more reckless she got. And I was there for every second of it. Writing. Waiting. Planning. It was supposed to be a simple thing, returning a wrench. Brian had borrowed it months ago when his shed door stuck. Said he'd bring it back. He never did, and I never reminded him. Just figured I'd stop by and grab it myself. She told me she was going to the store. Needed milk and something for dinner. Said she'd be quick. Kissed my cheek like she still meant it. She left, and 10 minutes later I grabbed the toolbox from the garage, tucked the empty wrench slot into the bottom, and walked over. I didn't use the front gate. It squeaks like hell and sticks if it's rained recently. I knew the back path better. Comes in by the trees behind both our yards, quiet and tucked away. From there, you can knock on the shed without anyone hearing much. That's when I heard her voice. She wasn't at the store. She was in Brian's house. I froze. Not because I expected the worst. Because of how normal it sounded. Like she belonged there. I heard a laugh. Hers. Then the low hum of Brian's voice. I couldn't make out the words at first, just the rhythm. Calm. Familiar. Comfortable. Then her voice rose, just a little. You know what I miss the most? She said. The feeling I used to get when I didn't know if he was coming home or not. There was a pause. When he was deployed, everything felt intense. Like life had weight. Like I mattered. Brian said something I couldn't catch. Then she sighed. Now it's just safe. Predictable. He makes coffee. Watches the news. Goes to bed at 9. I feel like I'm living with a shadow of who he used to be. The words landed like bricks in my chest. I stood there with the wrench in my hand, gripping the handle tighter than I should have. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. She kept going. I'm not saying I want chaos, she said. I want to feel something again. With him, it's like the air is stale. But when I'm here, she stopped herself, laughed awkwardly. When I'm here, I remember what it's like to feel alive. Another long silence. Then I heard her say quietly, I don't think I'll love him anymore. At least, not in the way I used to. That was the part that did it. Not the lie about the store. Not the hidden meetings. Not even the quiet tone in her voice. It was those last words. Simple. Cold. Final. I turned around and walked back the way I came, wrench still in hand. I didn't knock. Didn't leave it behind. I just needed to get away before I did something I'd regret. She came home 20 minutes later with a bag of groceries and a receipt from a store halfway across town. Said the lines were long. I nodded. No problem. She smiled like nothing had changed. Like she hadn't just torn something open with her mouth that would never close again. That night, I sat outside with the wrench still beside me on the porch. My notebook open on my lap. I didn't write anything. Not at first. I just stared at the page. Then I wrote one sentence. She's gone. The rest is just detail. She was still in the house, of course. Still folding laundry. Still humming. Still pretending. But I knew now. She wasn't mine anymore. Not in heart. Not in mind. And maybe not even in body. I didn't need to catch her in the act. I'd already heard the truth. And there's no walking back from that. After that night, I didn't confront her. Didn't ask where she really went. Didn't tell her what I heard behind that wall. Instead, I made myself quiet again, the kind of quiet that comes when a man's done talking and starts moving. I went back to my notebook. Wrote down everything. Time. Place. Her exact words as best I remembered. I read the page 5 times before I closed it. She didn't notice the difference in me. Thought I was the same quiet husband, going through the motions. Still drinking the same morning coffee. Still folding my side of the laundry. Still sleeping beside her without asking questions. That was fine. That's what I wanted. Because when someone thinks you're not watching, they stop hiding. The next few days were routine on the surface. She left for errands, and I nodded. She made dinner twice, maybe out of guilt. Even asked if I wanted to watch a movie together one night. I said sure. She fell asleep 20 minutes in. I stayed up and checked her phone bill on my laptop. We're on a shared plan. I never looked before. Never had a reason to. Now I had every reason. Brian's number was all over it. Texts, calls, even midday ones when she was supposedly cleaning or reading. One night last week, they were on the phone for 46 minutes. She told me she was in the bath. I highlighted it all, printed it, put it in a folder I tucked behind the water heater in the garage. She never goes near that thing. Over the weekend, I went to the credit union. We had a joint savings account and another one in my name alone. My military retirement, mostly untouched. I moved half the joint account into mine. Just half. Enough to make her wonder later. Then I called a lawyer, Karen Willis, recommended by a buddy of mine who'd been through a messy split a few years back. She didn't ask a lot of questions on the phone, just gave me an appointment and told me to bring anything I had. I brought the notebook and the printouts. She flipped through it all slowly, then looked at me and said, "You want to stay quiet? Or you want to burn it down?" "I want her out," I said. "But I don't want drama. I want clean, quiet, final." Karen smiled. "That, I can do." That was the first time in weeks I felt something other than hollow. It wasn't happiness. It was control. I walked out of her office with a folder full of options and a date circled on the calendar. 2 weeks. Enough time to get everything lined up, paperwork, accounts, division of property. Enough time to do it the way she'd never expect. At home, I played along. I kissed her cheek in the mornings. I nodded when she told me how tired she was. I said, "Have fun," when she left the house with that same stupid tote bag she always took to Brian's. Inside that bag, I knew, was her second life. Soon, she'd lose both. One night, we sat on the porch together. She was sipping wine. I had a beer. The air was still. She looked at the stars and said, "We should take a trip sometime. Maybe just the two of us. Get away from everything." I nodded. "Yeah, that might be good." She smiled like she believed it. Like the man sitting beside her hadn't already filed. Like she still had time. I smiled back. The stars didn't move. Neither did I. She had no idea. That was the part that amazed me the most. Every morning, she still poured coffee like nothing was wrong. Still left her cup half full. Still forgot to put the lid back on the sugar jar. Still scrolled her phone with that faint smile on her lips, like she had a little secret in her pocket. She thought I didn't notice. She thought I was drifting through life, half asleep, just grateful to have her around. In truth, I'd never been more awake. The lawyer moved fast. Karen said I made her job easy. I had the notes, the printouts, the timeline. No wild emotions. No yelling. Just facts. She filed the paperwork. Quietly. I signed where I needed to. Didn't tell anyone. Not even my brother. I wanted this clean, like a pulled splinter. One motion. Sharp and done. I moved the rest of my retirement money into a separate account under my name only. Left just enough in the joint to cover bills for another month. She wouldn't even notice. She didn't check that stuff. That was my job. Always had been. One night, she came home humming again. That same tune I'd heard her hum weeks ago after Brian played his old records. She tossed her bag on the table, walked over to me and kissed the top of my head like I was some quiet, obedient pet. "How was your day?" she asked. "Productive," I said. She didn't ask more. That weekend, I made a copy of the house key and brought it to Karen's office. "The locks will be changed once she's served," she said. "You'll need to pack a bag the night before. Don't be home when she gets it." "Don't worry," I said. "I'll be out early." Back at the house, I watched her pack a pie for Brian. He didn't ask for it. She just said he looked like he needed one. Funny, she hadn't baked for me in months. She left around 6. I sat in the living room, lights off, just staring at the clock. I imagined her walking through his door, setting down the pie, laughing at whatever sad little story he told. Pouring wine. Getting close. And I didn't feel a damn thing. Not jealousy. Not anger. Just calm. Like the end of a storm. At midnight, she crawled into bed, thinking I was asleep. I heard her breath even out. Soft. Peaceful. Like she hadn't just spent hours with another man. Like I didn't know. Next day, I went through the house and packed 2 small bags. One with clothes, one with documents and the old photo albums, the ones I wanted to keep. The rest could stay. I took my tools from the garage. Set aside the few things I'd need. Locked up the notebook and tucked it under the passenger seat of my truck. Then I sat on the porch and waited for the sun to rise. She came out around 7, still in her robe, yawning. "Didn't sleep?" she asked. "Got some stuff on my mind," I said. She nodded. I know that feeling. You don't, I thought. But you will. That afternoon, Karen called. She'll be served at noon tomorrow, she said. She won't see it coming. I looked out at the yard. Birds on the power line. Wind in the trees. My house. My home. My soon-to-be past. She's not the only one, I said. Because truth is, I didn't see it coming either. Not until it was too late. But I wasn't broken. Not anymore. And tomorrow, she'd learn what it feels like when the one you counted on, the quiet one, finally moves first. I wasn't home when she got served. Didn't want to be. Didn't want to hear her voice. Didn't want to see the shock on her face or hear her call my name like I was supposed to come running. I left just after sunrise. Bags in the truck. Tools loaded. Notebook in the glove compartment. One last look at the house. Then I backed out slow and steady. Like a man heading toward peace. I didn't go far. Just rented a cabin outside of town, quiet spot by the lake. No neighbors. No fences. No damn porch swing squeaking in the wind. At 12:17 p.m., my phone lit up. Unknown number. One voicemail. I didn't listen. At 12:19, another call. Then a text. What is this? Where are you? I turned the phone face down. Let her sit in it. Let her feel that stillness I'd been living in for months, that cold, silent space where everything looks normal on the surface, but underneath it's already gone. She didn't understand at first. That much I knew. She probably opened the envelope, skimmed the first page, and thought it was a mistake. She never saw it coming. Never thought I had it in me. That made it even better. By the time I checked my messages that night, she'd left 5 voicemails. The first sounded confused. The second, irritated. Third, angry. The fourth was quiet. The fifth? That one cracked a little. She asked me to call her. Said we could talk. Said she didn't know I was unhappy. Unhappy? That was rich. I didn't respond. I sat on the cabin porch with a beer in my hand, listening to crickets, letting the silence speak for me. She started calling my brother after that. Then my buddy Greg. Both told her the same thing. We don't know where he is. He'll call you when he's ready. I wasn't. Not yet. 2 days later, I checked the joint bank account. She looked. Tried to transfer money. Found what I left. Just enough for groceries and gas. Nothing more. She texted me again. Why are you doing this? Like she didn't know. Like all those nights she slipped out and came back glowing were just part of marriage. Like I hadn't heard her say out loud that she didn't love me anymore. She thought I didn't know. But now? She was the one in the dark. She came home from Brian's and found a house that felt colder. No note. No trace. Just an envelope on the kitchen table with her name on it. And everything I'd never said written in black and white. No yelling. No fighting. No begging. Just the truth. I imagined her walking through the living room, touching the back of the couch like I used to sit there. Opening drawers looking for answers. Finding none. I imagined her calling Brian. And I hoped he picked up. Because now, she was all his. And that's when it hit her, I bet, really hit her. She didn't just lose her husband. She lost the safety. The house. The future she took for granted. And all she got in return was a man still mourning his dead wife. A man who never planned to keep her. Just leaned on her long enough to stay upright. That's the thing about women like her. They don't think ahead. They just chase what makes them feel good in the moment. And then the moment ends. And there's nothing left but silence. The same silence she left me in, night after night, while she hummed someone else's song. Now, it was her turn to listen to nothing. 3 days after she got served, she asked if we could talk. The message came in early. Simple words. Please. Just a conversation. That's all I'm asking. She still didn't get it. She thought we were in the middle of a fight. That there was still a middle to stand in. But we weren't. We were past it. Past the yelling, past the tears, past the long sit-downs and second chances. I didn't respond. Not right away. Instead, I poured myself a second cup of coffee and went outside. The cabin was still. Birds in the trees. Mist on the lake. The kind of morning that feels clean. Like the world hit reset. I sat there until the coffee went cold. Later that day, she left another voicemail. This one longer. She said she made mistakes. Said she didn't know how lonely she was until it was too late. Said I'd closed off, and she didn't know how to reach me. That part made me laugh. Closed off? She had Brian's arms wide open, didn't she? She knew where to reach just fine. I texted back that night. There's nothing to fix. She didn't reply. Next morning, she called. I let it ring. Let her leave another message, voice shaking now. She said she missed me. That Brian wasn't what she thought. That she got caught up in something. Something. Like it was a game. Like I was just some habit she could break and pick back up again. She never once said the word sorry. That told me everything I needed. She still didn't see what she did wrong. She thought I left because I was mad. I didn't leave because I was angry. I left because I was done. There's a difference. That night I sat in the truck with the notebook in my lap. Flipped through the pages. All the entries. All the little lies. All the places she went. All the names she said. Every date. Every time. It wasn't about revenge. It was about remembering the truth she thought I'd never catch. That notebook wasn't for court. It was for me. To remind myself I didn't imagine it. To remind myself that walking away wasn't weakness, it was survival. The next day, she called my brother again. Left him 3 messages. Tried my sister too. Even emailed my lawyer. Karen called me and said, she's spiraling. Trying to undo the damage. I asked her if anything needed a response. She said, no. Unless you want to give her one. I didn't. Let her sit in the quiet. Let her walk through the house and feel the weight of every room I used to be in. Let her wonder what she really got when she traded steady for thrilling. Because thrill fades fast. And when the dust settles, all that's left is truth. And hers wasn't pretty. She went from glowing to ghost. Brian stopped answering from what I heard. A friend of hers, mutual acquaintance, called me out of the blue. Left a message I didn't ask for. She doesn't look good, the woman said. He's been distant. Said he's not ready for anything real. She's alone now. Scared. Good. Maybe now she knew what alone really felt like. Not just being without someone, but knowing they're not coming back. Not this time. The papers cleared 2 weeks after she was served. It was fast. Quiet. Just like I wanted. She didn't contest anything. Didn't try to fight for the house or the savings or even the truck. Maybe she knew she didn't have a leg to stand on. Maybe she was too ashamed to drag it into court. Or maybe she still thought I'd come back. I didn't. When Karen called to say it was final, I was sitting on the dock behind the cabin, legs hanging over the edge, boots off, cold beer in hand. She said, you're free to go your own way now. I already had. That evening, I drove back to the house. Not to see her. To get the rest of my things. She wasn't home. I didn't expect her to be. The place was exactly how I left it, except emptier. I walked through the living room, the hallway, the bedroom. Every corner looked smaller somehow. The kitchen light buzzed softly. Her sweater still hung over the dining chair. I took my photos. My tools. My keepsakes from the service. That was it. Then I stood in the doorway one last time, looking in. So much life had happened in that house. So much silence, too. And now it was hers. All of it. A few hours later, she came back. I was already gone. She found the house lighter. Cleaner. No note. No goodbye. Just space. My brother told me she showed up at his place the next day. Wanted to know where I was. Said she just wanted to talk. He told her I didn't owe her that. He was right. There was nothing left to say. What could she ask? Why I left? She knew. She just didn't believe I would. She thought I'd wait. Forgive. Bend. But I didn't. I let her go without a word. And that's what stayed with her. The silence. No final blow-up. No angry speech. Just absence. One night, she tried one more time. Showed up at the cabin. I saw her car coming down the road and knew it was her. She stepped out, looking tired. Older, maybe. Like the glow had drained completely. She knocked once. I didn't answer. She knocked again, softer. Please, she said through the door. Just for a minute. I stayed where I was. She waited 5 minutes. Then she left. I watched her drive away. And I didn't feel a damn thing. Not hate. Not love. Not regret. Just peace. Pure, heavy peace. The kind that comes when you've done what needed doing, even if it took you too long to start. She had Brian. Then she didn't. She had me. Then she lost me. Now? She had the house. The silence. And every single memory of how she threw it all away chasing something that was never real. She used to hum when she was happy. Now, there's nothing left to sing about. And me? I sleep fine. She thought she'd be happier. That's the part that stays with me. She really believed that walking away from what we had, quietly, gradually, selfishly, would lead to something better. More excitement. More emotion. More of that feeling she used to chase when I was still in uniform and halfway around the world. She told Brian once, I heard it with my own ears, that she missed the thrill. Missed the part of life that felt unpredictable. The part where she didn't know if I'd make it home, and every moment together felt like a gift. She wanted that again. Not me. That feeling. She didn't cheat because I was cruel, or lazy, or careless. She cheated because I was calm, consistent, because I made life too still, too real. And Brian? He was full of emotion. Grief does that to a man. You can feel everything when you've lost something important. She mistook that for depth. She leaned in, got close, offered him comfort, attention, maybe more. I don't know the exact line she crossed with him, and honestly, I don't care anymore. Because I know what happened next. The second I disappeared from her life, when the divorce papers hit, the money moved, the keys stopped turning, she started looking for something to hold on to. And Brian wasn't it. He pulled back fast. Said he wasn't ready. He liked having her around when she was someone else's wife. Someone who brought food and soft hands and a warm voice. But once she was fully his responsibility, the calls, the visits, the plans, it became too much. He didn't sign up for the wreckage. So he did the one thing she never expected. He let go. And suddenly, she was left standing in a quiet house that no longer felt familiar. No husband. No lover. No plan. That's when she started to fall apart. I heard from a neighbor, she started walking in the mornings like she was searching for something. She stopped baking. The flowers in the front yard dried up. She canceled a haircut. Let the roots grow in. She didn't just lose people. She lost her reflection. Because what she was really chasing all along wasn't a man. It was a feeling. She wanted to feel alive again. Wanted to feel needed. Desired. Important. Like her presence made someone's heart beat faster. But when the smoke cleared, she wasn't that woman anymore. Not to Brian. Not to me. Not even to herself. And she knew it. That's the real punishment. It's not me being gone. It's not the silence in the house. It's the mirror. It's waking up every day knowing you threw away a man who would have done anything for you, just to chase a feeling that never stayed. That's the cost of a lie you tell yourself long enough. You start to believe it's worth it, until it leaves you with nothing. She didn't just lose a marriage. She lost the part of herself that felt alive in it. And no matter how many mornings she walks the block, how many calls she makes that go unanswered, how many times she rewrites the past in her head, she can't bring that part back. Because it lived in the man she thought she didn't need anymore. And he's gone. For good. She stayed in the house, but it doesn't feel like home anymore. The curtains stay drawn. The porch is quiet. The flowers we once planted together are gone, pulled out like weeds. She walks alone now. Head down. No glow left in her. She wanted more life, more feeling, more fire. Now she is stillness. Emptiness. Echoes. I don't hate her. I don't think of her much. She had something real. Something solid. She gave it up for a spark that died before it caught. And now? All she is left is silence.